This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to a fun edition of C2C Rankem, brought to you by Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I'm the host, Big B, alongside my co-host, halfway around the world, the Prime Moose, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, excited, love this. I don't know if people have been keeping track of the states, but if they've done their math, they'll understand that we're going to be done with the states and weird laws.
Yeah, which is it's kind of sad, but I mean, you can only do 50 states, and we did roughly 9-10 episodes of this, and good things come to those. Good things come to those. So somewhere it has to end, but these ones aren't going to disappoint. I don't believe so. But Tim, before we get into that, what are some of your favorite laws that we have covered? I mean, what shocks you? What brings?
Oh man, we've done so many of these. It's, I start thinking of the ones that I know I broke in the states that they did it in. Like throwing a snowball in Wisconsin. Then you start thinking, how many times did you break that? The dumb laws where you need a doctor's permission to take a bath on a Saturday or a Sunday, or the ones where you need like 3 little things that you need to do, like you can't eat peanuts walking backwards in front of this auditorium during a performance, or the ones, I think it was the last time where we had 2 states where you couldn't like hunt in the ocean, and the funny thing is they were both landlocked states that didn't have oceans.
Yeah, no, those are definitely, and like we always say, it's just wow. I mean, you just somebody had to be the first to do it, and like you said, 2 states that we had that couldn't hunt in the ocean. Well, you're not near oceans. Or I remember one law, I think it was Colorado, where you couldn't take a lion or a tiger to the movies, or you couldn't drive, you couldn't have a gorilla in your back seat. It's just like, well, duh. I mean, So with that being said, we got 5 states, and we got Washington, D.C. that we're going to cover too on this, and this will end our fun list here. So with that being said, Tim, Kansas we're going to start with. How many do you think we're going to get here?
Oh, wow. It's crazy because I didn't think Kansas would be crazy, but then again, this is a state that has been has had like a civil war with Nebraska for like years on end. It's had a border war with Nebraska for years, so it's not really. It's kind of strange. I'm going to say 2 just to be safe, but I wouldn't be shocked for 3.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was thinking 2, 3. I'll go 3. We'll go 3. You go 2. So all right. So there you go. You can start.
All right, my number 5. I know right now it's January, so and from my understanding, if I'm reading my news right about what's happened in the United States over the last week, you guys have had a nice little cold snap from basically Alaska to Florida at this point. And people have been getting snow, and they were expecting. From what I saw, they were expecting 10 inches of snow in Florida at one point somewhere this past couple days. We haven't had snow and we've kind of gotten cold. But you kind of, and I don't know if you do this. I don't know if you do this, Brandon, but I know I have. I don't do it here because I kind of sit in the car as it warms up. I'm kind of that kind of guy. But in Selena, I think you've done this. I could be wrong. I know I have. But in Selena, it's illegal to leave your car running unattended.
Oh yeah, you turn it on in the morning because it's minus 10 to let it run. I mean,
and
yeah,
Kansas,
I mean, I get it to a point too because but all right. So my number 5, and the caption I'll get to after this because it makes a lot of sense, but in Kansas, it is illegal to shoot a rabbit from a motorboat.
I want to know the first person that did that.
But the caption on the bottom, if you could do it, you're amazing. But yeah.
Golly, yeah. It's I want to be
the thing is, you got to think about it too. You're not just on shoreline because you're in the middle of the lake or whatever. I mean, to see a rabbit going, I mean, yeah, if you can shoot a rabbit from a motorboat that far away, props to you. But
yeah, and you should be in the military as you should be a sharpshooter and a sniper in the military at that point.
Yeah. So, all right, you're number 4.
I saw this one and I thought it was weird, but because it's strange that somebody does this. And it's not one that it's weird because you actually have to make this law. But to me, I think it's a law that should be applauded, and should be kind of enforced everywhere. I think it should be a federal law. In Overland, it is illegal to picket a funeral.
What?
Yeah, I read that. I'm like, I think I can't remember where the West Baptist Church is, and I can't remember if that's I think that's in Kansas. Matter of fact, I think that might be in Kansas. But I think it should be. I honestly think it's illegal because it should be illegal everywhere because you've got.
That's just.
I don't know. It's crazy when you realize that. Oh, they picket back in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. They picketed soldiers who came back who died fighting for our country. Yeah, I know. I understand it's your God-given right to protest, but have a little respect. I think this should be a federal law. I think it should be a federal law, like without a question.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That's just ridiculous. My number 4, again, one, somebody's got to do it, like we always say. But this is just kind of like your picketing at a funeral should be allowed. This one, I don't know why it would be allowed, but it is illegal to sing the alphabet at night on the streets.
Yeah, I saw that one. I want you to think about that, and I thought about it. Think about that. What is the one of the sobriety tests that they do?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the alphabet, and where does it normally take place? On the street, and most of the time at night.
Yeah. All right, you're number 3.
Well, we're gonna start it right now.
Oh, let me find it. Hold on.
Oh. All right, because it's not C2C unless you're sniping, and my number 3 is your number 5.
Yeah.
I saw that, and started at number 1, and then it started working its way down. Really, if you can shoot a rabbit from a motorboat, more power to you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. My number 3, and I know another state kind of had a similar law in this, well, kind of similar, but this one just tops the cake because of part of it. It is illegal to honk a horn while you're entering I'm sorry. you have to honk a horn to warn the horses in city limits.
What was that? Was that Oklahoma?
Yeah, something like that.
It
Yeah.
was Oklahoma. I think it was either Oklahoma. I know the ones. I know Indiana. You couldn't pass. You couldn't pass a. Yeah, you couldn't pass a horse.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you have to honk your horn to warn your horses. So you're number 2.
My number 2. You know, if they had moved the Alamo to Kansas, Ozzy would have been in a bigger problems. But he was already kicked out of the San Antonio after he did this on the Alamo. I know I've done this, but I've never been to Kansas. Okay, I've been to Kansas, but I was probably 2 at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think my dad was like letting me do this at 2 years old. But in Derby, I know you probably have done it. I know I've done it, just not in Kansas. But in Derby, nice little city of Derby in Kansas, it is illegal to pee on the side of a building.
Yeah.
I've done it. I know I've done it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I probably done it here in Italy, and I know that's probably illegal.
Yeah. My number 2, it is illegal to catch a bullfrog in a tomato patch.
Okay. What? I didn't see that one. I'll be honest, or that would have been on my list. But who's really enforcing that law?
Exactly. That's the whole point with some of this. Is like, who's going to enforce it? You know,
it's so strange when you think about it. It's like, no, I don't see that.
Yeah. All right, you're number 1.
Well, you know, at this point where you're got a 2-0 lead on me, because my number 1, I believe, is your number 4. It being illegal to sing the alphabet on the street at night. I literally thought, are you joking? How are the cops going to arrest people for DUIs if they can't do it? Yep. And the funny thing is, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen enough cop shows to know, what is it? I think Live PD, they pull people over. And the first thing they said is you can't, and it's never in Kansas, but they said you have to recite the alphabet, but you cannot sing it. But I don't think it's in Kansas, but I've never heard. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. My number 1, you know, I'm not a fan of the pie, but in Kansas, it is illegal to put ice cream on a cherry pie.
Those dirty bastards. Ice cream belongs on cherry pie, apple pie, blueberry pie, on pie. I don't care. It's pie.
Alamo, exactly. Just cherry pie. Why is cherry pie so special? Pumpkin pie, apple pie. I mean,
what did cherry do so wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that one, like you, the shooting of the rabbit was number 1, and then I saw the cherry pie, and I'm like, okay, that's got to be number 1. Just because we like food.
Exactly.
So, but before we move on, I got breaking news here. If anybody's watching, that's basketball fans. The Heat are acquiring Terry Rozier from the Hornets for Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first-round pick.
Just came up just before you said it.
Yep.
When you just came up and said it.
Yep. So just the case, I mean, I know we're not a sports show, but we are a sport. We got sports shows, and that was breaking news as it just came along. So something we'll probably talk about tomorrow in Sports Minute. So, all right. So now we're going to move to New Jersey, back to weird laws. So,
and I've been to New Jersey. So, and I've been to a couple of these cities. So,
okay. Looking at them, oh man, it's tempting to go 5, but there are so many. There are so, because I can see us. You know what? I'll go a solid 3. I can see 4. I can see 5.
I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3, and yeah, I'll give you 3 because right. I know I broke this law once.
All right,
in this city, mind you.
So, so number 5 for me. I don't know why it's illegal, but I guess it's illegal to sell handcuffs to minors.
Okay.
They didn't specify toys or metal ones.
Exactly.
So.
That was my question because that was where I was going to go. Because how many times have you gone into the Dollar Tree or Dollar Store or
Yep.
Family Dollar where they've got the little
You play
police
cops and
officers?
robbers growing up.
Yeah.
You know?
Next, what are they going to do? Not allow us to use zip ties?
Yeah, I don't know. So, number 5 for you.
This is the one I knew I broke because I've been
Uh-oh.
in Newark. I've been in Newark Airport, so I know I broke this one.
Okay.
And you like ice cream, right?
Oh yeah.
And you probably majority of people who've had ice cream usually have it after a certain time. It's usually an after dinner thing. You get every once in a while during the summer. You get it during the afternoon and other stuff like that. And the reason why I know I broke this rule because I was in the Newark airport, and I ordered this and it was $6.35. So I know I broke the law. Now I know I broke the law. I didn't realize that I broke the law. But in Newark, it's illegal to purchase ice cream after 6 p.m. without a doctor's note.
There's those good old doctor's notes again.
I didn't have a doctor's note.
So, I mean, technically, if you're visiting and break the law, is it your fault you broke the law, or is it the people that?
No, because you always got to remember, and the judge will tell you this, ignorance of the law isn't an excuse.
Yeah, that's true. Oh.
So basically, we're a public service announcement for everybody who's going to these states, so they know.
Yeah, exactly. Number 4 for me. You cannot give alcohol or tobacco to zoo animals.
I'm like, who in the world is doing that? Really? I can understand that. I can understand that because that's and most people say that's a bad influence. No, it's actually very harmful to animals.
Oh yeah. You're number 4.
First of all, I want to find out why this is illegal. And second of all, 2 illegals make a right at this point? Because I'm not sure. Because it's kind of confusing, and I'm wondering if they're basing this off of all the mafia in New Jersey.
Uh-oh.
Because it's weird. And when I read this, I'm like, I've never murdered anybody. Just so everybody knows. And we don't recommend on our show. We don't recommend murdering people.
Yes.
And I'm going to. And if you're in New Jersey, I'm going to recommend you not do this while not murdering people. But it is illegal to wear a bulletproof vest while committing murder. Why was this necessary?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, my number 3. I saw actually this twice, but I wrote down the second one. It is illegal to frown at a cop. And also, too, it's one city had it was illegal to frown at all. So,
my understanding, it was illegal in New Jersey. Period.
It might be Jersey, but yeah. All right.
We might be having trouble getting our 3 at this point. I saw that one. And I'm like, that's going right there. And for some reason, it kept going down the list. I don't know if most people know this about me, but I have this pet peeve.
Uh-oh.
And usually pretty much people know if they know my pet peeve, they try not to do this. I have this thing about people eating with their mouth open and being very loud when they're eating. So I applaud this. I applaud this law. I think this law should be right up there with picketing at funerals. But it is illegal to slurp your soup in a public place.
Yeah, I can see.
Holy hell! You should see. And this is my brother's fault. This is if my brother. I've told this to my brother. I told him. I said, "You broke me." He says, "Why?" Because I used to be a person who used to eat with my mouth open, and because I have a deviated septum, so I can't breathe through my nose. But I've learned how to eat like that now. And my brother used to be a pain in the ass. I will tell you that plain out. every time I would do that, my brother would sucker punch me in the teeth. I stopped. I learned how not to eat. I think at 10 or 11 years old, without my mouth open. I've learned, and I'm not afraid to sucker punch somebody in the teeth.
All right. All right. My number 2. I don't get why this is a law too, but it's illegal to plant trees along a street that obstruct the air.
I couldn't understand that one. What is obstructing air?
Exactly. Aren't the plants and trees good for the environment?
Well, yeah, that's true too. But anything that technically a human obstructs air, a tree obstructs air, everything obstructs air. But you're going to tell me that a tree that's beautiful and actually will. And this is the screwed up thing is, and I don't think many people know about this, and I really don't think people from New Jersey are but trees actually raise property value.
Yeah. Well, you better not do it to obstruct the air.
Holy smokes.
All right, you're number 2.
All right. This is New Jersey, so I know this happens on a daily basis. And you don't even need to be in New Jersey to have broken this law. I know I've broken this law. I think everybody under the sun have broken this law at least a million times at this point. Even if you're young, even a newborn has broken this law at least once or twice. There's this city. I bet you've done it. I know I've done it at least twice today. I think you've done it at least twice or 3 times today. I bet you Jackson's done it once or twice today. But there's a city in New Jersey called Haddon. Okay. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, this should be number 1. And then I realized number 1 is a whole different ball of wax. In Haddon, it's illegal to annoy someone of the opposite sex. And here's my other question.
I haven't done it today because it was just me and Jackson at home, but Jackson will probably do it at school. And
right. But here's the funny thing is it doesn't say human opposite sex either. It says someone. Oh, it does say someone. So technically, that's technically personifying it. So it makes it a people. Okay, but yeah, I've probably done that at least twice today.
Yeah. All right. So my number 1, your number 4. You can't wear a bulletproof vest while committing a crime. Like you said, so does this 2 wrongs make a 2 wrong laws make a right law? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, but 4 rights make a square.
Yep, exactly. So you're number 1.
My number 1. I don't know if you saw this, but I saw this, and I want to see the person who's going to try to enforce it and what they're going to do about it. Jersey's got a lot of statues. New Jersey's got a lot of statues.
Well,
yeah, and like I said, I've only been to Atlantic City. I did a weekend in Atlantic City, and I did 3 hours in Newark. So I didn't really go outside of Newark, outside the airport. And they've got a statue at the airport, which is hilarious. But it is illegal for birds to poop on statues in New Jersey.
I missed that one.
Who is enforcing that law? And is this a death sentence for birds? At this point, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. So we got 1. So, yeah, that bird one. If I would have saw that one, I missed that one. That would have been number 1 or 2 for sure. So,
yeah.
But all right. So let's move on to Maryland. I don't know.
I've been to Maryland too, so
yeah, I can see a couple.
I broke one. I broke one of my laws in Maryland already. Now I got to start.
I'll say it's probably my number 3 that you broke.
Number 3. I broke 2. Now that I look at it, I've broken 2 laws in Maryland.
Wow, actually, we probably, if you're doing 1, you probably broke my number 5. So go ahead with your number 5.
I know you wear these type of shirts. I wear these type of shirts. I have, and you're probably wearing one right now. Matter of fact, I know I'm wearing one right now.
No, I
It
am.
just happens to be
It's the
under my
same one I'm
sweatshirt.
thinking of.
It's and I'm wearing it right now, and it's underneath my sweatshirt. Which is funny because Maryland is one of those states that have Baltimore, and Baltimore is kind of a bit of a rough city, especially if you go near the stadiums. And I don't know if that's constituted as a public park or not, but these two stadiums are considered public parks. I've been by both of them. It's illegal to wear sleeveless shirts in public parks in Maryland.
Yeah,
They
they
can
would
allow
be
that.
they would be arresting me quite a bit if they saw me wearing. So. So does that mean you can't wear basketball jerseys while you're playing basketball?
Is it a public park? Most of the time, they are public parks.
Yeah, I would guess it would be outside. I mean,
I guess
Yeah.
it would be illegal.
no. My number 4, I know everybody's broken this law no matter
What's your number
Oh,
5?
5. I'm sorry. Yeah, my number 5. I know everybody's broken this law many times, especially while driving, but no cursing while driving on the highway.
I didn't see that one. I honestly didn't see that one. And yes, I've broken that many times, and in Baltimore and in Maryland. I know I broke that law in Maryland at least a good 100 times.
Yep. So you're number 4.
All right, Baltimore. Well, since we're going to talk about Baltimore, I'm going to talk about Baltimore. It's funny because I know, which is really strange because if you're at restaurants, and I've eaten at a couple restaurants in Baltimore, which makes this even funnier and makes me now more scared because I ate at a Applebee's and A&W / Kentucky Fried Chicken combo place and McDonald's in Baltimore before we went to New Jersey. Makes me even really scared. But it is, and if you really know about the health department, I don't know how the health department lets this law even still exist.
Okay.
It's illegal to scrub or wash your sink no matter how dirty it is.
What?
Yes, it's in Baltimore.
You can't clean your sink.
Can't clean your sink. And like I said, that's usually one of the first things that health departments look at.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so my number 4. You tied it up because my number 4 is your number 5, the sleeveless shirts. So, yeah, I'd be busted quite a few times. So, all right, you're number 3.
My number 3. And I think every man in Maryland probably rejoices when they find out that this is illegal in Maryland. I think more husbands would be even more happier in other states. I bet you right now most husbands would like make this like a First Amendment. And I don't know if my wife has ever done it. I'm probably not going to ask her.
Because she'll start.
She'll start. But it's so nice to know that in Maryland, it is illegal for a woman to go through her husband's pockets while he's sleeping.
Wow. All right. My number 3 is the one I thought that maybe it's on your list, or maybe you have broken it, but and I know I probably have in my younger days drinking. But number 3, cannot buy a drink for a female bartender.
4 or from?
4.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
I saw from.
See, I thought I saw from too. So either way, I mean, if you can't buy a drink from a female bartender, that sucks for
that's
you're not having female bartenders. But I swore I said 4. So
I'm not going to go looking at it right now, but
yeah, exactly.
That tells you where that I saw it.
Yeah. All right, you're number 2.
Number 2. Well, at least this time that there's an ocean, that Maryland is right there because it's right next to it's right there next to the Atlantic Ocean. Because I know I drove by it. But I want to know who the person. And then again, these are Maryland people. So they're kind of, and the funny thing is, my brother-in-law's dad is originally from Maryland,
Okay.
and Pops is a guy that I could see doing it because he was, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was from Baltimore. But I could see him doing it. I could see people in his family doing it. So not everybody from Maryland are bad, just some. And I think I may have broke this law in Florida. Now that I think about it. But in Maryland, it is illegal to eat while swimming in the ocean.
I saw that one. I can see why, because if you drop something in there, it could attract the ant,
It'll attract. Did you say attract the ants? No, it's
animals,
like,
fish. But again, if you're eating, you're not that far out to where
hopefully
you might get a little fish. You're not going to get a big shark or a whale, but
right.
Yeah. So, all right, my number 2, your number 3. No searching husband's pants while sleeping. I don't think my wife's done it. I know she doesn't do it when she does the laundry like she's supposed to, but yeah.
I'll be honest. I think I'm the only one in my house that actually empties my pockets out. If my wife is watching this, I'm going to get a text later. I empty your pockets out. I tend to.
I try to empty. I forget once in a while, but
yeah, it happens. I've sat there and picked off Kleenex off my sweatshirts and shirts because somebody has left. He'll go nameless, Andrea. He's left tissues in his pockets before, but that happens. He just turned 16, so I guess it's okay.
All right, you're number 1.
My number 1. This is why I said. That's why I asked. Are you sure it was from and not for? You said it was for and not from. My number 1 is your number 3. I'm telling you, I know I've done both. I've bought for them and from them. Yeah. It's how else are we supposed to take a female bartender home unless we get or we tip them very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. So my number 1, I'm going to try to be very.
You're going to tiptoe
around it, or
are you going to tiptoe around it? Because I want to hear how you're going to tiptoe around it.
This one definitely would be on the Bro Code show. But you cannot give or receive adult stuff. And the part that got me is that this also includes animals.
I didn't see this. No, you're going to have to untiptoe this, or you're going to have to send this to me later because
we'll do it later. But yes, you cannot give or receive
sexual favors.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see this.
But that it also includes animals too. Applies to animals, it says.
Oh hell! How did that would have been my number 1? That would have been. Oh my god! How would that not? How did I not?
Yes, that one. When I first saw that, there's nothing that was going to beat that one. So wow. Yeah. So I don't know how stuff happens in Maryland, but you can't do that. So, all right. So we got 3. Would have been 4 if Tim would have looked at the right stuff. I guess I don't know.
I didn't even see it on the. Didn't even see it on the. On the site that I was looking at. Holy smokes!
All right. So let's move over to Arkansas now.
Arkansas. We go Kansas, then we do Arkansas.
What? I'm like Arkansas. Oh man, it's too early, but yeah. Okay. So this one had a lot. And the thing is there's going to be one city I think we're going to call out quite a bit in this one. I know I am.
At least twice. At least I did it twice.
Yeah. So they got some problems there. So
I guess.
Yeah, I'll go 3. I think we could get 3.
Oh, I'll give you. I like your 3. I'll give you 3.
Okay. And I'll start. We talked about
right here.
What?
Here comes the city right here.
Yep, exactly. Little Rock.
Exactly.
No one may suddenly stop or start their car at a McDonald's in Little Rock.
Well, I saw that one too. I'm like, how suddenly? How else are we supposed to do that?
So I'm guessing you can't stop and let somebody out and then go, or I don't know.
Start the car, or I can understand suddenly stop the car.
Yeah,
but
suddenly stop
suddenly
or start your car.
start the car. It's like,
I don't get the starting part, but
I don't get the starting part either. I can understand the stopping part.
yeah. So, all right, get out of those dollar menus. Don't suddenly stop for them, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so I'll do my number 5, and guess what? Guess what city we're going to go to in my number 5?
Well, what city?
We're going to go with Little Rock. Little Rock, and it's funny because every man in the world who's heterosexual has done this in every city in the world, and in Little Rock it's illegal. So I'm guessing this is something you have to do behind closed doors. I didn't realize that this was such a problem in Little Rock that you got to do it. And you can't do it on the streets.
Okay.
But it is in Little Rock because Little Rock is, well, then again, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton at least one point in time had lived in Little Rock because that's where the capital is. It is illegal. Maybe they wrote this law because of Bill. I don't know at this point. But it's illegal for a man to flirt with a woman on the street. Where the hell? Okay, I'm not gonna. What happens? I'm not a bar guy anymore. And what happens if I don't go to a bar and see a woman, and I just happen to see one that I really think is very pretty, and then okay, that's just terrible. That's just terrible.
My number 4, and I'm going to put out there that we don't condone this on C2C Network or this show, but again to make it a law. And I'm sorry to laugh about it because it is a serious issue, but the time length is what I'm kind of laughing at. you cannot beat your wife for more than a month.
Oh God. So wow. So can you take for more than a month? Wow. If you've got the stamina to do it, first of all, I don't condone this. I completely don't think every man should go out there and beat his wife for a month, or for longer than a month.
Well, exactly. But yeah, I wasn't going to put it on there, but then I read it and it said a month, more than a month. I'm like, why would you need to make that a law? I mean,
yeah.
So you're saying 26 days, 28 days is okay, but then
are you going after? Here's the funny thing is you don't beat your wife. The best thing, and this is gonna find its way on Instagram. This is where that thing is gonna show up where Callan's taking bits and pieces from the show, and this is where Tim's gonna get himself thrown into Instagram jail because this is the clip that's gonna come up. So basically, what you're saying is you can beat your wife for. You better hope that you beat your wife within a month that's got 31 days is what you're saying. And dear God, and don't start beating her February 1st because you've technically, well, this year you've got 29 days, but you've got 28 days. Again, we don't condone this, and we have to put this disclaimer. We're going to have to get Callan to put a disclaimer going. We do the things that we say we do not condone on this show. So yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah. No, I saw that one too. So we're at number 3 for me, and
no, it's my number 4. My number 4.
You're number 4. I'm sorry. Go ahead, number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah, you're number 4. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It happens. This is the crazy one. This one now they didn't even specify. This is weird because Fayetteville is actually one of the second biggest city I think in Arkansas.
All right.
And I think I can't remember is the University of Arkansas there or Arkansas State? I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. I'm wondering how they get food in this city at this point if this is a law. In Fayetteville, it's illegal to kill any living thing.
Okay. I think I saw that one. It kind of threw me
What
off.
is that? So say technically, if you think about that, so basically all they can eat in Fayetteville are anything that they can import and rocks and dirt and water. That doesn't make sense. It's
Yeah.
if your wife, while she's not getting beaten up by you for 29 days, is getting attacked by a dog. The dog is supposed to still attack, is allowed to attack the person as long
Nope.
as you're okay, cool. Just checking.
Yeah, I guess. So jump the gun, but my number 3 is your number 5. You know, can't flirt on the streets in Little Rock. So all right, so we got some comments coming in. Jason Barber's joining us. So we got here Chuck's the rule, grandma, it's the law. What else we got here? But babe, it's only been 29 days. So you can meet your husband. That is true, I guess so.
Well, I'm gonna say this, really wishing that I don't get a comment later. If he's got a husband, more power to you.
Yeah. All right, you're number 3.
How come I have a feeling that I'm going to get my contract renegotiated after this show for less peanut butter peanut M&Ms?
Yeah.
My number 3. I hate this law. I'll be honest. I hate this law right now because I don't know how many times I've heard kids losing their ever loving mind, and so basically, you know. Have you ever seen?
I saw this one.
Have you ever been to a Sonic?
Oh yeah.
Most Sonics are what? They're drive-in restaurants.
Yep.
Right. So I don't think there are that many in Arkansas. I've never been to Arkansas. Just so we know. But it is illegal to yell at your children at a drive-in restaurant. I'm sorry, I'm losing my ever-loving mind if a kid acts a fool because he didn't get his shake the right way or his.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So my number 2, this is one that out of all the laws we got, I want to see how they police this and who gets in trouble for it.
Exactly, because I think I know exactly where you're going with this one.
Because
is it in our favorite city too?
I don't know. I didn't write down the city, but it is illegal for the Arkansas River to rise above the Main Street Bridge
in Little Rock.
Is it in Little Rock?
In Little Rock.
So how do you
exactly? Exactly. Who's getting the ticket? The governor?
Well, exactly. I mean, I know there's locks and dams that you can control the.
Well, that's like that's basically back in the day. That's like who you're arresting. This back in the day in the WWF when Vince McMahon wrestled God. At this point, you're trying to ticket God.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. Don't know how. And it should be number 1, but I thought I had a better number 1. But anyways, you're number 2.
My number 1. Well, this is C2C.
Number 2.
My number 2. My number 2. Yeah. My number 2. My number 2 is, I believe, your number 3. The whooping your wife's butt for a month.
No, that was number 4.
That was number 4. Holy smokes! I thought really highly of this one. Yeah, I thought of that. I'm like, really? You can beat your wife for a month? That's like the Texas law where you can go to the courthouse, beat your wife once at the courthouse steps, and you can't beat her again for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah, that one I don't get. All right, my number 1.
What did I miss?
Well, it's food related, so I mean.
Now what did I miss?
Yeah. So you cannot honk your horn after 9 o'clock at a sandwich shop in our favorite town, Little Rock.
I missed that. I saw that one and I'm like, yeah, it's food related. But when, my number 1
Yep.
You know, you kind of have an inkling. I know you kind of have an inkling that you know what my number one is at this point because I said it was in Little Rock. C2C. My number one is your number two. It's crazy that you had what, 4 from Little Rock?
Yeah, 4 actually. Yeah, the only one I didn't have was the
Beat your mother for
yeah,
a month.
because I think they had the city on there too, and I didn't put it on there.
No, they didn't. They
Oh, they
didn't.
did? Okay, I thought they
No.
did. Yeah, so we got 3. If anybody's keeping score, we're tied 4-4 on sniping people.
Holy smokes.
So, but yeah. I just it just dumbfounded me. How are you gonna police the river one?
Yeah, that one threw me. When I saw that, I'm like, that's number one for sure. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how can you police that? Who are you giving a ticket to on that?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go to Connecticut. So
Is that my next one?
yeah,
That's my next one.
Yeah. So all right. I don't know. I didn't see too many good ones, so it'll be interesting. There's one that got me laughing really good. I believe we'll both have it. But I'll go 2.
I like your 2.
All right. I'll kick it off.
All right. I worked at one of these when I was 19 years old. This was, I think you were still around in Iron Mountain at the time. Yeah, you were. Come to think of it, you were. I worked in the only one of these that were in Iron Mountain at the time at the Midtown Mall.
Okay.
And it's funny because when you think about it, you know, arcades have you know a lot of amusement devices as they're called, you know, pinball machines, pool tables, dartboard. Well, they didn't have a dartboard, but they had an air hockey machine, but you know, arcades. But in Rocky Hill, it's illegal for an arcade to have more than 4 amusement devices. Then why is it an arcade?
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
So, all right. My number 5. Married people cannot kiss in public on Sundays.
I didn't see that one. That would have replaced at least one of mine. Sundays, why?
Sundays, yeah. I don't know why.
Can they kiss other people's wives or husbands?
I don't know. It just says married people cannot kiss in public. I don't know if that means.
I'll be honest. I think I beat J-Mac to that statement.
Did you have one?
No.
Oh, yeah, you can beat your husband. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. You're number 4.
I have to agree with this city because you know the mess it creates and the stuff I don't think is biodegradable. And you know, basically you're taking the fun out of from kids. That's like taking away dancing in Footloose. But in Southington, it's Connecticut. I don't know. I don't know if I've been to Connecticut. Silly string is banned.
Yeah, another city had that too. Wow, earlier when we started doing these. Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, you don't want your kids
to have fun. Does make a mess and it is hard to clean up, so I kind of get it, but
I get it.
All right. So number 4, you cannot store town records where liquor is sold.
Oh, I saw that one. I'm like, who's really? I'm like, who's wow, that just it threw me for a loop. I'm like, who's really doing that?
Well, exactly.
It doesn't make
You're number what are we at? 3? No.
3.
Yeah. You're number 3. You started.
3. You know, Hartford's the capital. Most people who didn't know that, they know it now. So technically all these laws were made from in Hartford, like the other one was Little Rock. So technically, you know, that's cool. And first of all, if you're able to do this, by all means, go for it. I don't know why you have to make it illegal at this point. I don't remember the Whalers ever being that good where I don't think they ever won. I think they may have won a Stanley Cup, but I can understand it. But this is the only time I think they would actually do it. But in Hartford, it's illegal to cross the street while walking on your hands.
Dude, if you can do that, I mean,
I'd go for it.
I'm not turning them in.
I'm probably not filming it, but I'm not turning him in.
My number 3. Oh, now I could see this be like in Arkansas or something, or some weird state like that, but Connecticut. So it is illegal to call a pickle unless it bounces.
Oh my gosh, you really, oh my gosh, you've got me in a loop. You really put it on the list. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. All right.
I don't even think I have pickles here to see if they bounce. I didn't really think pickles bounced.
I couldn't believe when I saw that. I'm like, I can't believe that. Are you really? And who's testing that out?
Exactly. What's your job? I check to see if pickles can bounce. And then what do they do if they don't bounce?
Then we can't call them a pickle.
So what do they call them?
I haven't heard at this point. I don't know.
Anybody in Connecticut watching this? Tell me if your pickles bounce. I'm just curious.
It's crazy.
All right, you're number 3.
My number 2.
2. Yeah, that's right. You started.
Well, here's the funny thing is, it's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 2 is your number 3. That's why I'm like, I can't believe that you put that at 3. I figured it was a 2. I'm like, holy.
Yeah, I had it there. I don't get it. I don't. Get it at all. So my number 2, we go to. Well, I don't much because I do it myself now, but in Connecticut, beauticians and stylists may not hum, sing while working.
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've ever had a barber or a beautician.
No, normally they're talking, but
yeah, normally they're talking. That must mean you're a terrible conversationalist if they're singing or humming.
Exactly.
That should be a law. You're right. I agree there completely.
Your number 1.
My number 1. First of all, this is another one. If you can do it, by all means. And second of all is, why are you not winning the Tour de France every year? And third of all, why are you not winning the Olympics? But it is illegal to ride a bicycle over 65 miles an hour.
Yeah, why aren't you? I mean, if you could go that fast, you're winning everything possible.
And why are you? And believe me, if you're that fast on a bicycle, you're that fast running. You're quick. You're at least 25, 30 miles an hour. How are you not?
Yep. Well, I wish I would have saw that one because I did see that one. But my number 1, and I do this a lot, and in Kentucky or Connecticut, I would definitely be arrested because you cannot eat in your car.
Oh, I'd definitely be arrested. I probably would have been arrested yesterday.
Well, yeah, I would have been arrested every day I go to work. So.
Yeah. Usually I've got something in the car just to snack on for a brief second. But that's crazy. All right.
So we are going now into DCU.
DC.
Yeah, this one I didn't see. Again, nothing really jumped out at me, but some were pretty good ones. So
there was.
I'm going to play it safe and I think we're just going to get one. I don't see, because we didn't do good the last couple of times. So,
and the funny thing is, and here's the funny thing is, and I think we get 2, but here's the funny thing is, this is where most of the lawmakers are here. So you have to think some of this crap has to be made because we've got senators and representatives and such, because these had to be made. And it's hilarious because I know of one that had to be taken about the time of the early 1800s. So,
all right.
So go ahead, give me your number 5.
My number 5 tourists like to take photos, but in Washington, D.C., you may not take photos for more than 5 minutes in a public area.
I've never done that. I've been to
Well, I've
Washington.
never done it either. Normally, you take a quick shot here and there, but
I'm going to be honest. I took a picture of. I'm not sure because technically Arlington isn't a public location because you have to pay. So it's not.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, you have to pay. But we were going when the day before we had Dad's memorial. We were driving towards because we wanted to see where Arlington was and how easy it was, and we wanted to get downtown so we could go see some of the sites. Tim, now I know this is illegal in Virginia, Maryland, and DC. I'm taking a picture from the steering wheel of the Washington Monument as I'm driving on the interstate. And I'm taking a picture of the Pentagon as I'm driving by. I'm like, okay, this could get me in trouble. This could get me into a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, because everything is because you got to think about it. The Washington Monument is a public location. You don't have to pay.
Yep.
The Jefferson Memorial, which I saw they had a law for too at the Jefferson Memorial. I don't know if you have it. I don't, but I have.
I don't.
There's one where there's a law where at the Jefferson Memorial, you can't dance at the Jefferson Memorial. Why are you dancing at the Jefferson Memorial is beyond me. The front of the White House is public. The sidewalk is public.
Yep.
The Capitol building is public. The House of Representatives is public. About 99% of the stuff that you can take a picture of is public, and most of the time, people are standing there for longer than 5 minutes.
Yep.
And technically, you can take a picture you can stand outside the Pentagon. I'm one of the few people who have seen all 5 sides of the Pentagon 5 times in a matter of 30 minutes. That's for another story. Because I got lost. I got off because my GPS told me that we were supposed to go right at the Pentagon office. My sister, my brother-in-law, my mom, and my aunt were all stayed on the road. And I've got all the kids. So I've got Mikey, I've got Andrew, and I've got Kaylee all in the car. So I'm one responsible for basically telling everybody to get the kids to the Arlington for Dad's memorial. So I'm going and I take off because my GPS said, "Oh, you need to go take a right." So I'm looking. There's one side of the Pentagon. There's another side of the Pentagon. There's another side of the Pentagon. And he came up and I'm like, "Well, I'm not supposed to be here." So I got back on. There's the other side of the Pentagon. There's the other side of the Pentagon. So I saw all 5 of the sides of the Pentagon within the first 5 minutes. I proceeded to lap the Pentagon 5 times. And guess who's got Dad in the vehicle? I do. And I'm going to say, and I made the comment, I said, and I'm on the phone with hands free. And I'm sitting there telling my sister, I said, Dad's not going to make his memorial. And she's like, why? Because I found myself in Georgetown. And I'm basically saying, it was just the funniest thing. And I look up at the sky. I said, Dad, I bet you're laughing your ass off right now.
Oh, I would be too. And I know your dad would be.
And it's just, I'm doing this. And I said, and I looked over, right? And I'm sitting here telling the kids, and I'm telling the kids, I'm going, so help me God, if I see this Pentagon one more time, I'm going to take it. I know there's a pier over there, and I'm going to put us right into the Potomac. I will drive us over that pier. I said, if you want to get out now, because if I go past this one more time, I'm taking a right off the pier. Sure enough, if I don't go from Georgetown, cut back through Georgetown and go around the Pentagon, and my nephew Andrew is sitting behind Kaylee, who's sitting in the driver's seat, and Andrew says, Tim, it's okay. If you want to let Kaylee out and Mikey out, go ahead, because I think I've seen this Pentagon way too many times. I think I want to see the bottom of the lake, the river too.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lynn, yeah, we've done Detroit, Michigan a while ago, but yeah, they had some weird.
That was our first. That was our
Yeah,
first state.
that was one of our first ones. Yep. So, all right.
So,
So
Michael, you
where
gotta
are
do
we at now? I'm lost.
You did your number. I think you did your number 5. I still have to give my number 5.
Okay, go ahead. Do your number 5.
So,
Oh yeah, we're just on photos. Yeah.
so yeah,
What's
and
up,
this is,
Blake? Hope you're getting better. So,
but
all right.
and it's hilarious because when you realize this, I think every news station in the world should be arrested for this. And it's funny that they have to make this law in Washington, D.C., of all places. But it's illegal to give a false weather report.
I missed that one because yeah, I would have that at number 1. So number 5.
You're number 4.
Number
Number
4.
4.
Yeah, you're right. You're wow. So my number 4: women cannot be employed to dance with men.
Yeah, I saw that. I really did. What number was yours?
4.
Number 4. Okay.
All right, you're number 4.
Okay. I think this shouldn't be illegal. I think this should be the ultimate trash talk. I think this is like trash talk before Michael Jordan got down the court. I think this should be a perfectly good legal thing to do. Because I think somebody's honor was besmirched because of this. I think, and when I found out that this was in Washington, D.C., of all places, I thought this was hilarious. But it's illegal to post a public notice calling someone a coward for refusing to accept the challenge of a duel. We call that, if this was the NBA, Michael Jordan would have just called you,
Yeah.
or as I started at a Raw one time for against one of the new board members of TKO. I called Raw chicken shit, and that's exactly what this would be.
All right. So my number 3: Santa Claus may not be used to sell alcohol.
That's dirty pool, dude.
That's dirty pool.
That is so dirty pool, dude. They use Santa Claus to sell Coca-Cola, but why can't Santa Claus sell the rum to go with the Coca-Cola?
Yeah, exactly. You're number 3.
My number 3, guess since it's C2C, it's not C2C unless we're sniping. My number 3 is your number 3.
Yeah, I saw that one. So, well, we'll keep on the track here because we're on number 2, and my number 2 is your number 4. And I thought the same thing. It's like, it's against a lot of post a notice calling someone a coward for not accepting a duel or a challenge. Yeah, that's.
Yep. So, my number 2. We're just gonna keep this sniping train rolling. My C2, it's not C2C unless we're sniping. My number 2 is your number 4.
Oh, okay.
I saw that. I'm like, say you can't employ women to dance with men, but you can employ women to have sexual favors with men. But they call that technically the horizontal mambo. So technically, would that okay? It's illegal there too, anyway. So go ahead.
Yep. So my number 1, and this is one too that some people probably have broken, and in DC you can get a ticket for. You can get a parking ticket for parking in your driveway if it's not fully parked in your driveway.
I saw that one. I didn't read that would have replaced my number 5. It really would have. My number 5. What was my number 5? Yeah, I would have replaced my number 5. So my number 1.
Oh.
It's hilarious that you had yours at number 5. I've got mine at number 1. I thought it's crazy that you can't take pictures more than 5 minutes in a public location. I'm like, are you kidding me? That whole city is a public location, and you take pictures everywhere in that city.
So Tim, if you would have had if my number 1 is your number 5 or whatever, replaced it, we would have been 5 for 5.
We would have went 5 for 5 in DC.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, guys, we will quickly go over a list here. Last week, let me see if I pulled it up right. Last week we did what ifs, and we did kind of all over, but I got a what if because Callan brought this up on a show we did together backstage. So what if in the sports world, this is brought by SI. So
Sports Illustrated, this could be awesome.
Yep. So the first one that comes up, what if Alex Rodriguez has been traded to the Red Sox?
Had been traded to the Red Sox?
Has been traded, yep. I think he vetoed that one, or
he did.
Yeah.
When he was with the Rangers?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't think it would have been with the Yankees. I think he wanted to play for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I think that's why
the player used spiked the proposed swap between Boston and Texas in 2003. Had this been approved, the Alex Rodriguez's legacy would have been quite different. I don't know if it would have been quite different. I don't know. All right. What if, and I think we covered this before, what if the 2000 or the 94 MLB strike never happened?
Philadelphia, either the Phillies or the Expos play in the World Series.
Against the White Sox, most likely, because I think Yeah. And I think baseball doesn't have the home run monster show that they did after, which brought MLB back.
Right.
What if Babe Ruth was sold elsewhere?
We wouldn't be talking about the Yankees being the evil empire. They don't win as many as they do.
Here's a good one, and I think everybody respects them for doing it. But what if Ted Williams and DiMaggio had not been sent off to the war? Record book stage.
To be honest, I think at that point Williams becomes the GOAT. I think if Williams doesn't go to World War II or who'd you say, DiMaggio? You're talking about. You
don't get the Cal Ripken streak.
You definitely that was Gehrig.
Oh, Garrett, yeah, you're right.
I truthfully think that we're talking about we're not talking about Mays being possibly the GOAT. We're talking Ted Williams or DiMaggio being the GOAT at that point.
Yep. This is one we covered before. What if Michael Jordan had continued playing baseball? That was one of mine. Yeah, if his baseball career is spiked, he doesn't go back. We don't get the three-peat.
We're not talking him as the greatest of all time either.
Yeah, you're talking more top 10.
You're talking top 10. You're not talking top 2 at the worst.
Yeah. So let me get to. Okay. So what if NC State had not pulled off the miracle?
Georgetown is got themselves a small little mini dynasty at that point. I think Georgetown at that point still had. I think they had Ewing still at that time.
Yeah, I think you're right. So,
I think they still had Ewing and Pinckney, and they still had the team that had lost to North Carolina the year before. I think we're talking Georgetown, and I think Ewing gets it. I think Ewing gets his national championship.
Yeah, and then the next what if is what if Portland had better injury luck? So, they compared it to the 70s staying healthy, and then it would have been easier to pass on Jordan. It would have been easier to take it. Their team would have been healthier. But of course, if you're healthy, you're winning, and you're not drafting that high.
You're not drafting Sam Bowie number 1. You're not drafting Sam Bowie at 2. You're at this point the Bulls may not take Jordan at 3 or 2 because the Bulls would have went up to. No, I still think Jordan still would have went 2 instead of 3. And we're not talking.
Jordan still goes, but you're not talking about the Portland passing on them if they're healthy.
Right. You're not talking about them. You're not talking at that point. You're talking about maybe Bowie stays healthy longer, and we're talking about somebody you're talking about Portland. You're talking Bowie with Drexler and Kersey and Duckworth with against the Lakers team at that point. It would have given Lakers a run for their money. You would have had. I think they beat Detroit. I think they beat Detroit in '88 at that point. I think they beat Chicago a couple years later.
Yeah.
I think we're talking.
So what if Big Ben gets drafted by the Giants?
Who?
Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, that would have just you would have made wow. Ben at number one instead of Rivers, and then trading for Eli.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Eli goes number one to San Diego.
Yep.
Ben goes what? 15th?
Yeah.
10th or 15th? He goes deep. He goes number one. Heck, if he goes number one, or the Giants Giants take Roethlisberger instead of Manning.
Yeah. Yep. Now this one kind of confuses me a little bit. I guess I'm reading it now. What if Donald Trump had made the Bills great? So I guess there was back in the day around 2014. Looks like Donald Trump wanted to buy the Buffalo Bills. I don't think there would have been much difference. I mean,
no, I don't think there would have been much difference. He'd have ran him into the ground like the USFL. I don't know. Yeah, I think that would have been. I don't think much changes because he's just a money guy at that point.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it makes much of a difference.
Yeah.
He's not. I don't think he's running for president at that point.
Yep. Here's one. Drew Brees. What if Drew Brees had passed his Dolphins physical?
Oh man, we're talking about you're basically wow. Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that one. Because who was supposed to go? Who was the Saints looking at if he hadn't passed? Was it Garrard?
I can't remember. I think you're right. What if Jim Harbaugh stuck with Alex Smith at quarterback
In San Francisco.
Kaepernick
Instead of Kaepernick? I don't know. I think that would have. He's not going to the Super Bowl that year. He's not going to the Super Bowl the year that they went to play the when they played the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think they're not. Yeah, they're not going to the Super Bowl. I think Kaepernick, because of the whole shotgun, the pistol formation, because it was so new in the NFL. Because Nevada had been running it for 10 years at that point, and he had come from Nevada. Or no, he came from Nevada. I think it was new, much like the Wildcat. Eventually, the Wildcat ran its course. The pistol ran its course. I think that's the only reason why they make the Super Bowl is because of Kaepernick and the pistol.
Here's one. What if Peyton Manning went to San Diego in 97, 98?
Oh, God. And believe me, you're talking to a guy who wanted Ryan Leaf. I remember losing my ever-loving mind when we drafted Peyton Manning. And it's because I'm a Gator fan that I didn't want him. That would have sucked. We would have been drafted. The funny thing is, the year following we drafted in the top 5 the following year anyway, so it didn't make much of a difference. We would have been in trouble. We would have drafted number 1 the following year. We would have. 99. Who we drafted? Then we drafted oh God, we would have been a shit show. We would have been a complete and total smokescreen at that point.
So here's something that I want to read a little bit more on. I don't know if we have much time. What if these draft moments had happened differently? Derek Jeter becomes the hero of Cincinnati. Kobe and Shaq team up in New Jersey under Calipari. Jerry Rice finished his Hall of Fame career in Dallas.
Oh. I don't think it makes. If he finishes his career in Dallas you have to make sure he doesn't go to Oakland. You have to make sure he doesn't go to Seattle.
So here's the Cincinnati one. So if they draft Jeter with Barry Larkin at shortstop, Jeter moves to center field. There.
Here goes the center.
Yeah, they said Jeter goes to center.
That would have been a bad idea. I'd make Barry Larkin play second, make Jeter play short.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that would have been better. I think
Niners and Patriots couldn't agree on a draft day trade at 85, and Jerry Rice slips one pick, and Cowboys pick him at 17.
Yeah, because they wanted him. They wanted him at 17.
Yeah.
And Walsh saw him and thought nobody was going to take him, and then if I remember right, Tex Schramm wanted him. I think Gil Brandt wanted him badly, and because they thought he was a sleeper and that nobody actually understood what was going on. And I think Gil Brandt said, "Well, nobody's going to take him. We were going to steal him at 17." And like you said, the Niners steal him at 16 from the Cowboys. I think, but you're putting him up against. Here's the thing: you're putting him against with Danny White.
Yep.
Time, and Danny White isn't the quarterback that Joe Montana and Steve Young is. I don't think we're talking about Jerry Rice being the greatest of all time if you got Danny White throwing to you.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So first year Nets head coach John Calipari ignores Kobe Bryant's bluff that he'd rather play in Italy than New Jersey in 96 and drafts him at number 8. And then, 5 years later, you don't draft Kid probably.
Oh no, yeah, you don't draft Kid.
Yeah.
You don't.
1 month later, free agent Shaquille O'Neal chooses his home team. So that's where so you get Kobe and Shaq for most of their career then.
Yeah.
That happens. So, but with that being said, guys, a lot of what ifs. Definitely a lot to bring this back. Here's another good one that I wanted to bring up. What if Muhammad Ali never met Malcolm X? Did he change his name?
He goes to the war.
Yeah.
I think he goes to Vietnam. And at that point, we're talking about the greatest of all time not being around because you don't know what's going to happen.
Here's a good one we might have to dive into a little bit more. What if Tiger Woods had became a Navy SEAL?
Sorry.
Golf is definitely not golf the way it is. It's not as popular.
Yeah, we're not crawling.
I know I'm not playing golf that much.
I'm not playing golf now. But I don't play golf now, but I did then, but I don't. Tiger wasn't the reason I was playing golf. We would have a kick-ass golf game for PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think we wouldn't be talking about the LIV tour. I don't think we'd be talking. Yeah. We talk about anything like that because Tiger Woods did something that James Jackie Robinson did. He crossed barriers. He crossed cultures. He made golf popular in the minority cultures because of him being multicultural as a person. He brought. You don't get KJ Choi. I don't think you don't get the Asian group. You don't get the African American group to come in and start. And you you definitely make Nike less money. But yeah, it's tough. I honestly don't think that was ever going to happen because I think Earl wanted Tiger to be a golfer anyway because I don't think that was ever in question. I never realized he was possible.
I didn't either. So here's some good trades too that they bring up. What if St. Louis Cardinals sent Albert Pujols instead of Tatis to the Expos in 2000?
In 2000, Expo. Oh God! At this point, they sent Tatis instead of. What did they get in that return for that?
They don't say.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Was that before what year was he a rookie? 2002?
They said prospects, so 2000, I'm guessing, around that time.
2000 and sent Poole. I don't know if the Expos. I don't know if the Expos go to. I don't know if the Expos go to Washington at that point.
Yeah.
We're talking about. I don't know. That's tough.
What if George Steinbrenner gets his way and sends Mariano Rivera to the Mariners in '96?
Was that good with the Rivera? Who was he?
That was Griff. That would have helped Griffey, Ichiro, and A-Rod.
Ichiro wasn't there yet, was he?
That's what I was saying.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that team wins World Series. That team wins at least 2.
What if the Packers and Raiders finalize their deal for trading to Packers to get Randy Moss from the Raiders?
Good Lord, could you see that?
Well,
there was also a time where Green Bay was talking to Buffalo when Green Bay was looking for a running back, and there was that time where the Buffalo Bills were shopping around Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
And then there was one back in 98 where the Falcons were shopping if Eric Dickerson had passed his physical.
Yeah.
If Dickerson had passed his physical, he was going to Green Bay.
Yep. So, all right, guys. So that ends our show. Tim, final thoughts?
I love these shows. I love this show because it just proves that stupidity goes from anywhere. It can become from anywhere at any state, from any time, for any dumb reason. Like I said, I love these shows. Absolutely love them.
Yep, exactly. I love them too. Too bad, we'll have to find another one. I think we're toying around the idea of doing famous people from states. I think that'll be our next big project. Again, we'll keep doing the what ifs and whatever comes along. So
we still got birthdays too, but we don't know. I got to look up dates on that.
Birthdays. Yeah, we got to get back to birthdays. We got to do a birthday one. So with that being said, tonight, Between the Ropes, tomorrow, Sports Minute. I know Callan hasn't been feeling good, so I don't know if Press Row will be on this week. Creeping It Real on Thursdays, Kicking It hopefully this week again. Entertainment Hour, James and the gang. Playoff coverage for Morning Tailgate, breaking down the 2 playoff games this week. So, and then of course myself and Tim again next week for C2C Rankem, and then the Bro Code now, as we're calling it, aka the former I forgot what it was called, Four Bros show.
I'm still thinking that thing should be called. And I've talked to this bacon. I said that thing should be called 3 Eggs and Bacon.
3 Eggs and Bacon. So hey, maybe we'll have to come up with a show called that or something. So with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. C2C Rankem. Have a good one.